So this is going to be a quick introduction to benchmark 4b, consecutive numbers. Consecutive means next to each other or in a row. So some examples of consecutive numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, -2, -1, 99 and 100. As you can see, the difference between any two consecutive numbers, 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, or 4 to 5, or -2 to -1, or 99 to 100, the difference between them is 1. So if I make a variable x, and I say, I want the next consecutive number, I know that it's going to be x plus 1. And if I want 3 consecutive numbers, I can use x, x plus 1, and x plus 2. As you can see in the first example, 1, 2, and 3, if I plug in 1 for x, the next consecutive number is 1 plus 1 is 2, and 1 plus 2 is 3. By using x, x plus 1, and x plus 2, I can always make a list of 3 consecutive numbers. So we're going to get a lot of problems like this. 2 consecutive numbers add up to 11. So the way that I'm going to get 2 consecutive numbers, if you remember from the last slide, is x is going to be our first one, and x plus 1 will be the second one. Now what do I know about them? The two of them, when I add them together, add up to 11. So let's try adding them together. X plus x plus 1 equals 2x plus 1. And we know that that equals 11. Well, I can solve that. I'll subtract 1 from each side. 2x equals 10. Divide both sides by 2. And I end up with x equals 5. But that doesn't answer the problem. That only gives me the first one. So to say what 2 consecutive numbers add up to 11, I have to say 5 and 6. That is the answer to the question. Here is another common question that we're going to get. This time we have to find 3 consecutive numbers and add up to 63. Well, we know the first number we're going to set to be x. Since they're consecutive, the next number is going to be x plus 1, and the third number is going to be x plus 2. Those are 3 consecutive numbers. If we add them all up together, we get 3x plus 3, and we know that it has to add up to 63. I'll subtract 3 from each side. I'll get 3x equals 60, so x equals 20. That gives me my first number. But again, it's asking what 3 consecutive numbers. So if 20 is my first number, then 20 plus 1 is my second number, and 20 plus 2 is my third number. That's the answer to the question. And if I want to check 20 plus 21 plus 22, if I add them all together, I get 63. We're also going to start with consecutive even and odd numbers. So what can consecutive even numbers mean? Well, here's an example. Just like consecutive integers, they mean numbers that are in a row. But this time, they have to be even. So consecutive even numbers mean even numbers in a row. Can we come up with a formula like we did for consecutive integers? If we use x for the first number, what do we notice about the next two numbers? It's just x plus 2 and x plus 4. And we know this because even numbers go up by 2's. So when we used consecutive integers, 1, 2, 3, we added 1, and when we did consecutive even numbers, we had to add 2. So if I say the sum of 3 consecutive even numbers is 12, then I can just sum these 3x plus 6 and set them equal to 12. I'll subtract 6 from both sides, and I'll end up with 3x equals 6, or x equals 2. Now I have my first number, and if I plug it back into these, I'll get my second number and my third number. X equals 2, 4, and 6. Those are 3 consecutive even numbers that add up to 12. The last type of problem we're going to look at in this video are the consecutive odd numbers. Now, just like even numbers, odd numbers go up by 2's. Don't be confused that we're going up by 2's. Odd numbers still have 2 in between each of them. So the first number in this example is x. The second one is x plus 2. The third one is x plus 4. And the fourth one is x plus 6. Remember that both even and odd numbers go up by 2's. So even though I have 4 consecutive odd numbers, we're still going to use x, x plus 2, x plus 4, and x plus 6 to add up to 72. So just like in the other problems, I'm going to take the sum of these 4 numbers, and I get 4x plus 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 6 is 12, and set it equal to 72. Now I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides, and I end up with 4x equals 60. I'll divide both sides by 4, and I end up with x equals 15. Once again, that just tells me the first number. This is 15. X plus 2 is 17. X plus 4, 19. X plus 6 is 21. So these are my 4 consecutive odd numbers that add up to 72. In order to check it, I sum them all together. 15 plus 17 is 32. 19 plus 21 is 40. 32 plus 40, 72. And that's what I want it to be. All of these problems for the next few days are going to work the same way. Figure out the pattern of what the numbers need to be, add them up, set them equal to your sum, and then solve for the first number.